Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a rocking weekend, and I hope your Monday was manic-free, as my weekend was not too bad, even though the Cowboys lost again. And Monday, it's been busy with learning some new stuff in 3D Studio Max. But being that it is Monday means time for spooky places. And this week, we shall visit a few places in Maryland. The first stop this week is Point Lookout State Park. The area known as Point Lookout had its beginning in the mid 1800s as a pleasure resort. During the Civil War, it became both a hospital and prisoner of war camp to hold Confederate soldiers. This place was a hellhole, for it was only meant to hold 10,000 troops, but instead held more than 20,000, with rampant disease taking many lives. After the war, Camp Hoffman was dismantled, although many of the buildings still stand today as reminders of the past. And some say that many of the soldiers imprisoned there stay also. It is not only the buildings there that are haunted, but the very land the camp stood on also. There have been many people over the years who have had strange experiences in the park, from staff members to visitors. They claim to have seen apparitions of soldiers appear in front of their vehicles, and have seen and heard things which cannot explain. Most frightening are the strange voices that have been heard and captured on audio tape in the park. Voices that seem to belong to prisoners from the past. Ghost investigations and even seances have turned up all sorts of odd phenomena, and hundreds of reports are documented every year. In the 1970s, a park ranger manager saw the ghostly figure of a young man outside the window of his residence and then vanish, while another employee saw a ghostly woman standing at the top of a stairwell. Sounds of phantom footsteps, slamming doors and windows, and even ghostly snoring have been reported and recorded in a duplex dwelling in the park. It had served as a functioning lighthouse until 1965. There have also been reports of ghostly sightings by fishermen and tourists on the roads and pathways in the park. Unlike many of our natural parks, the rangers here keep track of the strange sightings and reports, and even conduct a ghost tour each Halloween. We now move on to the Tyler Spite House in Frederick, Maryland. House was built by Dr. Sam Tyler in 1813 and got its name Tyler Spite because the house was built to stop an intersection of two streets from being built out of spite. Over 100 years later, the house was sold to Dr. William Scheineifer. There had been other owners of the property, but this was the first time that the ghost would be mentioned. People began to report a strange presence in the upstairs, especially after the place was turned into apartments. In recent years, an artist named Marie Teresa Fernandez had a number of strange encounters. She says there was definitely some sort of presence in the house. The door to the attic was located just in the hallway outside what was her apartment. She claimed that every night at 2:30 in the morning she had an eerie visitor. She would awaken from a sleep in cold sweat with the feeling that someone was standing in her room. Sometimes she would see a gaunt white figure moving around in the dark. The apparition seemed to be masculine, with long, stringy hair and a loose robe. She also claimed that the figure sometimes poked at her with long, bony fingers. The house now operates as an exclusive bed and breakfast and is highly recommended. And the last stop for this week is Locust Point, Baltimore, Maryland. People in the neighborhood had long believed that the house to be haunted, but shortly after the end of the Civil War in 1865, residents of the house began relating some very strange stories about the house. It is believed to be haunted by the ghost of an English woman who lived there and who had starved to death in the house. She had come from a good family but had married beneath her, and when her husband left her with nothing, she was too proud to ask anyone for help. She was eventually found dead with her two small children lying dead in her lap. They all had been seated in a rocking chair near a window. Shortly after her death, neighbors started noticing noises coming from the house and occasionally caught a glimpse of the English woman's ghost in the window, slowly rocking back and forth. This went on for some time, and everyone who moved into the house quickly moved out. In about 1865, the Bodie family moved in, and they became immediately aware of a hostile atmosphere in the house. There was a cold spot located over the third step of the staircase, and if anyone tried to take a lamppost, it would suddenly be snuffed out. They also heard crying that echoed through the house at night and the sound of what described as a billy goat running over the loose planks on a bridge. They also reported strange chills and breezes and the sound of a rocking chair creaking back and forth upstairs, even though there was no rocking chair in the room. Short time after the family had moved in, one of the children came down with typhoid, a common ailment in Baltimore at that time. The boy was very sick and segregated in a room on the ground floor. One night during dinner, the family heard a loud scream and then a sharp blow. They rushed into the boy's room and said that he had been slapped by a lady. On his cheek was the red imprint of a hand. At other times, the ghost slapped other members of the family, although no one ever learned why. By this time, they had more than enough of the house, and as soon as the boy could be removed from quarantine, they moved out. The house still stands today, although the old brick has since been covered with stucco that was painted to look like stone. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed the tales for this week, and I'm wishing you all a spooky night.